Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, Dragon Ball edition. Today we have a lot of news to talk about in the world of Dragon Ball. So we have the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
Always doing fine as always. How about yourself?
I am doing well, thank you very much. Mitch, let's just get right into all the stuff that's happened since our last recording. But do want to talk about our last recording because as soon as did everyone just copy our last episode in the Dragon Ball world?
It feels like it, man. It like we jokingly have said off air that whenever we sit here and we have these discussion points, it's not like, or at least we don't feel like we're trendsetters or we don't. Some of these things we just talk about just on the fly as we're just talking, and then we don't really think too much of it, and then just out of nowhere, similar things are said throughout the Dragon Ball community, and we just don't understand how we all seem to be on the same wavelength of ideas. And it almost it almost seems like we have fans who listen to the podcast who are larger than us, which we would be flattered if that were the case, but it's strange. It's strange because like before our last podcast, like I had asked, we had made the discussion about like which of the three like things of Dragon Ball would you want to come back first, like in order, like movie, anime, manga, new game, like that was like a basis of our question, and prior to um that podcast in September. Nobody was asking like that specific question to their communities. What do they want first? And I had just pondered that just to pass the time in our discussion, and then all of a sudden, it's all over. It's all over Twitter/X, and it's just a way that these content creators are engaging with their fans. And I'm just going to go back and say it. It's just I feel like we brought it up first, and then all of a sudden, it's all over the place. So it just spies. That's the term that we use to describe the stuff. Just spies and who knows.
Yeah,
But
man, it's really bonkers because we really asked like we said movie, anime, manga, news show, like all that stuff, and then literally the algorithm, everyone magically starts asking, "Oh, what do you think it should come back as? What do you think this should happen? What should this
yeah,
happen?"
yeah. What do you want first? Do you want to see Moro? Do you want to see a new movie? Do you want to see a new manga chapter? Blah blah blah.
And I think it's one of those things too where obviously like when we talk about stuff, we say like, oh, like the day of recording, like today we're recording on 10/23. This will probably come out around like 10/20, like 6 or 7 or somewhere around that. But it's
Yeah,
like we're recording and stuff. And then obviously, just because the operation we run, it doesn't come out like the day of. If it came out the day of, people would be like, "Oh my gosh, like these people really are like just ahead." Because someone's copying our idea. It's kind of wild. It is wild, and the Dragon Ball world is responded to us.
right.
First thing, Sparking Zero, they had their 1 year anniversary. They had a little big trailer showing all the 200 characters. They said it's not over yet. The next DLC is already in the pipeline. New characters and more info coming January 2026, like the Battle Hour thing. The big one from games out of nowhere after our recording, Dragon Ball Fighters, their first new update in like content wise in 4 years, just out of nowhere. And they said Super Saiyan 4 Goku Daima is coming to Fighter Z, releasing spring 2026. Mitch, I guess that was something we didn't put in our caveats. Video games, because no one saw 4 years and Fighters just bursted out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, we've been talking talking down on the treatment that fighters always get. So
Mhm.
maybe people are listening to that, and it was either an inspiration for them to figure it out and and get fighters back into the limelight, or they kind of wanted to just shove it back in our faces. So whatever the motive is, we will take it. We'll take more fighters content there, especially Daima.
Hmm.
What a jump in in content. They're going right to Daima Super Saiyan 4, and yeah, it's good for them. That's awesome.
And it's funny, as soon as they announced it, they were like, "Oh yeah, here's an update patch. Here's an update patch." So people are like getting on the game, like, "Oh, I haven't played this game in like years. Let me get on and play." And now they're just so active. Like after 4 years of being completely quiet, now they're just omega active.
Which you're going to lead into another bulletin point that we're going to
Hmm.
talk about here. I want to make a connection with that, so I'm going to let you continue and
Yep.
about what's upcoming here.
Yeah. So, I gotta make sure I say it. So at Genki Dama, aka Spirit Bomb, Genki Dama Matsuri, is that how you say it? Matsuri?
Yeah,
Basically a Spirit Bomb fest. It came out. It was confirmed by Dragon Ball Games on the official page. It was also confirmed by Hype. This event was officially announced. It's going to have all the latest content regarding Dragon Ball. Nozawa is going to be there. A new Dragon Ball game project is going to be available this January at this event. Multiple, so a new Dragon Ball game, two major
yeah,
projects, I'm sorry, are going to be announced at this. So they have Battle Hour in America, which is all focused on the games, but they have this in January. This brand new event for Dragon Ball. Mitch, what the hell? Like since our last podcast, things have just magically picked up.
yeah. We like one of the things that we had said on the previous podcast was that Dragon Ball is in a drought. It's very slow at the moment. And then I mean, right after we said that, that just got flipped on its head. So with what you had said here was one of the things that was announced was a new Dragon Ball game
Hmm.
will be officially announced, and this is part of the next talking point in which we have on our list here. But for everyone else, this event is dated for January 25th,
Yep.
9 a.m., 6:30, 9:30 a.m., 6:30 p.m. Japan time.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind then. But what I wanted to make that connection was there's a new Dragon Ball game being officially announced. Is that game, could it be, hopefully, a sequel to Fighters? And they're bringing back, or they're getting people back into the fold of Fighters by releasing new DLC just to get the fandom back into it, you
Ooh,
know?
I haven't actually heard anyone say a sequel for Fighters. I think the one that
Mm.
everyone has said is Xenoverse 3.
Well, I think it very well could be that.
Hmm.
Um, I think they still have, don't they still have DLC planned for Xenoverse 2?
Uh, yeah,
Or they
two. Yeah,
don't?
they have a DLC coming out, future slates about Broly and Chile's relationship. I don't know how far they're gonna go into it, but I just think everyone thinks that's the betting thing because obviously that game came out almost what 7, 8 years ago to the time we're recording, pretty
I
much.
saw somebody else call it on Twitter and X. Xenoverse 2 is the Grand Theft Auto 5 for the Dragon Ball universe, or it's like I would say like like Skyrim, but Skyrim just kept getting the same release over and over again. It wasn't really new content except for a couple of the expansions that were coming with it, but not like, if it is Xenoverse 3, fantastic. But I would I the timing of it just makes me think Fighters, like a,
Man,
f- a Fighters sequel.
I mean that makes sense. I think that can make sense if they're doing that. Like, hey, that's that or Xenoverse 3. But I want to throw this one out because that'll be 2026, and the way games are, we think, is it just going to be an original game? And is it going to be one of those games that are on like the Oculus or like like a VR game because Dragon Ball doesn't have a VR game.
Well, yeah, not a VR game. I think whenever I paused there for a moment because I thought back to that the bullshit that they released back, 10 years ago with the Xbox Connect. I forget what that Dragon Ball game was. That was motion capture, trying to do a Kamehameha, and it wasn't really that good. But yeah, they don't have a VR game. I hope it's not, but I'm not one who's ever really jumped in to the virtual reality or the augmented reality, either one. I have not been one who's really jumped on board with that train. So I know other people, especially like in
Hmm.
the L7C, they swear up and down by it. Shout out to the L7C, Mr. Mason, Jacob, wrestling podcast expert. But I hope that's not it. I'll be disappointed, even though a lot of people will be really excited if it's a VR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want VR. I wouldn't. I just think that that's something they know they can get a whole bunch of money in, and they might think they want to convert people to that. So that's why I do that out there, potentially VR. I really just don't know because I even brought up if we're just thinking about sequels and stuff, games like Spiders, Sparking Zero's coming out on Switch this next month at our time of recording. There's never been like a dedicated just like original story for like the Switch game, like so I
Right.
was thinking, do we have a Switch version of the Legacy of Goku series?
Well, what I was going to say was I wonder if there are certain franchises right now that are doing like legacy collections. So if you are, you get into if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, they have the legacy um, collection that was recently released with a lot of Game Boy games, and they also have done it with like Jurassic Park, for example. There was a legacy collection for all the original Nintendo, the SNES and Game Boy games for that. And if you were a Metal Gear Solid fan, you might have got your hands on the Master Collection that they released with the Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and Metal Gear 1 and 2 from the original Nintendo systems. So that is something that the industry is sort of leaning into with various degrees of success. So if if Dragon Ball was to announce some sort of game like that, bring back, as you said, like Goku's Legacy,
You
like the
could do
Game Boy.
Legacy of Goku Daima because think about it, it
Yep.
ends at the Buu saga for Buu's
Yep.
Fury. The fourth one could be Daima. That'd be a
Yep. Yep.
perfect thing.
Yep. Yep. Could I don't know how you would do a legacy one because that entire franchise was based off the Game Boy.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just not. I don't know like that kind of style of gameplay. How much the fandom would unless they just modernized it. If they just just
Yeah.
straight up just modernize it. Now granted, I didn't play like what was the third one? Boo's Fury.
Yeah, it was on the Buu saga.
I don't know if I would say like is Kakarot like Dragon Ball Kakarot
Yeah, yeah.
kind of a spiritual successor where it was a little modernization to it, but I don't know. But I would take a like a Masters collection that would involve the Game Boy games, some of those jank ass PlayStation games, or
Hmm.
just adding, uh Budokai 1, 2, and 3, because if you didn't play the original PlayStation 2, Budokai 2, for example, you've never played it because when they did the HD collection for the Dragon Ball game on like the 360, and I assume probably like the PlayStation. Um, I assume it would have been the three at the time if they did.
Yeah.
They only released Budokai 1 and 3. They skipped 2. And two's kind of unique because it's treated like a board game
Hmm.
kind of view to it, but still exciting, it's still fun and just um but yeah, I'd hope that they would do a master collection if this upcoming game is not like Xenoverse but
My
I
thing
don't know.
with the games, though, is what, especially with more of Xenoverse, like two or three, like going to a three or anything. What more can you do if you're not allowed to use the other manga characters?
What more can you do if you can't use the manga
You
characters?
can't. We can't keep like we've already. I mean, Kakarot, they've already retold the story. We've already done the story a multiple of times. We've done different stuff. It's like what more story? Like, because these games always have like an original story, stuff like that, or they
Yeah.
retell the story. But like, what more can you do if you can't use the manga characters? Because we've already played out the Tournament of Power in all the recent games. We've done all of
You see,
Super. Daima's almost done in Kakarot. So it's like, how are you going to make this fresh without like using? You can't use Moro. You can't use Granola. Like, how are you going to make it
the
fresh?
the only thing I could think of, because obviously, as everyone who's listening knows, Xenoverse, they do it extremely well, but time travel makes that pretty easy. Fighter Z, Fighters it was able to do it by
True.
introducing, Android 21
Hmm.
um and getting the player involved as an actual character, not like create a character, but you get what I'm saying. The only thing I could think of is doing doing a game that that covers the things in which like Heroes covered,
Hmm.
because there's a ton of plot points um that was in Heroes that uh, could have been fleshed out way more and could have been something amazing. And that's I don't know, but everyone just keeps even if they release a game that has the exact same story that's constantly being put in these games. I mean, it's it's going to sell. I don't know how you can make it any more original
No, I
compared
think
to.
that's right though. You picked the thing. Like, if they do Heroes opens up a whole, and I think that'd be the best way to do it. Heroes opens up a whole new avenue
Oh yeah,
for a Dragon Ball game because then you have Xeno Goku, Xeno Vegeta, like all the Xenos. You got Hearts. You can make Hearts the main villain or Cumber, and then Foo's. Obviously, we know who Fu is from Xenoverse, so like that transition from him to Heroes, like I think that'd be the thing. Like if you get Heroes involved, and I mean, why not? I mean, Sparking Zero was the first video game on a major console that had Shallot, so
right.
why the heck not?
Hmm. Yeah, just you have a lot of original characters and heroes, way more than all the other mediums can produce. So it's like, yeah, heroes would be the way to go and taking full advantage of everything that's there. So
Yeah, so just a quick thing, like Dragon Ball's got the Fighter Z revival, Sparking Zero DLC in January, a new game announcement, two major project announcements. They got Battle Hour, they have a Minecraft collab coming. I mean, Mitch, I mean we literally just asked this question last podcast, but now it's official. Two major projects. I'm sticking with it. I think one of them is a movie. One of them I one of them has to be a movie. What What are your two? What are your two that you think it is?
um movie and the continuation of the manga.
Ooh, that would.
Even though I do want to say like Daima season two, I'm going to push and say the manga
Yeah. I'll
because
go. Go
we've
ahead.
been away from the manga too long.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Yeah,
I would think that
that's
they would flip back and forth. Manga here, then they'll get Daima going, manga, anime, whatever. Like I feel like that's what they would try to push for.
yeah. That makes. I mean, that would be
But
crazy.
I'm in agreement with the movie because I think just looking at the success of the previous Dragon Ball movies and then the more recent success of like Demon Slayer, it's
Mhm.
just like, all right, it's time.
And let's already get one question out the way that we're going to ask when it is a movie because we both think one of them is going to be a movie. Are they actually going to put effort and promote it?
If they better just so that um they can if they I don't know. I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get at. Like, if they want to make that demons thing, you got to put some promotional effort.
It's like I feel like they're making this decision where they're like, yeah, we can put in this promotional work and we can make the box office numbers go up, but then our cost will then just be over much, or we can do absolutely nothing and word of mouth and just the Dragon Ball IP will just carry this thing to, the stratosphere. I'm just I wish they would. Like even if they just wanted to do it just so that they could own the record, you know what I mean? Like so they'd be like, okay, maybe our profit margins wouldn't be as high, but if we could overtake Demon Slayer as the number one like anime movie like of all time, like for example, then like I would say, yeah, you need to advertise it. You need to get people hyped up. It needs to be on everyone's mind all the time. So
Yeah, agreed. But we'll see, man. It's official. I mean, this is as official as it gets. A new game and a new project. That's on the 25th. Typically, we record on the 20th because that's usually when the manga is coming up, but we'll definitely record after the 25th so we could tell you guys all what happens that day on that. Mitch, just actually a couple more things. Nozawa is becoming the first ever voice actor to be named to a cultural merit honoree and receive the Medal of Culture. It is a very high honor in Japan. Just quick thoughts on the voice of Goku being the first.
I'm surprised that nobody has ever like gotten it beforehand. I mean, this is 2025, so I'm just surprised that not a single person. But with her being such a like an icon or a pioneer, I guess it is absolutely appropriate that she would be the first one and just open up that avenue for everyone else that she inspired. And yeah, it is appropriate. I'm just surprised that it took this long.
And then, since we were talking about games, 18 years ago is when a lot of people in their top three, top two, top one, top five games in Dragon Ball history, Tenkaichi 3 was released on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah. Yep. 18
18.
years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy on that. So, Mitch, and this will probably be up before this, but we recorded the last Anime League podcast, and we were talking about like potential if you could go back and make a event from Anime Pass into a movie, what would it be? I said the Cell games, and I had a day or two to think about it, and I changed when I would, if I did it in three parts, I changed when I would end the movies. I said I would end the first movie with Goku doing the Warp Kamehameha.
Yep.
Now I've changed it. I would end the second movie on Goku's sacrifice.
And then flesh out like Gohan and Cell a
Hmm.
little bit more.
Yeah, like, because then I would end it on that, because the second movie, you're like, oh my God, Goku died. To say, like, And then you're like, oh my God, that's the last thing you see in the second movie. Then the third movie, obviously, like flesh it out. And then it ends, obviously, with Goku saying that he's not coming back because,
Yeah.
all the bad guys felt like they were coming after him. The world's in good hands. Almost, you ended like that. That's in a three-part movie. That's almost the way that some people said it was Dragon Ball was intended to end.
I would I'd agree with that if there was a little more of a fleshed out fight between Gohan and Cell after his return.
And we could do that in a movie.
Couldn't do that in a movie.
So that would be that I just had to change. I was like, nah, if you ended on Goku saying goodbye, my son, that's how the movie ends. Oh my gosh. That'd be wild.
Emotional.
That'd be wild, but I just want to throw it out here. Mitch, anything else, man?
Nope. That's that's it for me this evening.
We're officially on a countdown to Omega News in January. It's been a minute since we've had official things, but now we are on a real Dragon Ball News countdown for 2026.
Hey, to all the listeners out there, when you see it on social media or whatever, that the prediction for the video game is Fighters 2. You tweet at them. You let them know that L7C said it on October 23rd, and you let them know where that that they need to give us a shout out because we're giving them content too. So you you guys need to look out for us. Appreciate you much.
Can't say it better myself. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. We're all on this road to January 2026 for the new Dragon Ball content. With that being said, you guys take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.